Thank you so much for joining me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. On Monday, we talked about laying out principles in your child's life in relationship to their gifts and talents and the development of their skills. Today's video will have something in common with that, and that is teaching your child how to persevere, the necessity of perseverance, and actually truly the rewards of perseverance. You ever done something that was really hard? I mean, like really hard. I remember when I was a kid, we used to do the president's fitness, whatever that thing was, challenge, I guess it was called. And so at one point in the school year, we would have to do so many pull ups on a chin bar and so many push ups and run a certain distance and climb up a rope, however many feet we could get. Yeah, it was really tough. And we would do it at the beginning of the year. Then, as the year progressed in gym class, we would do various exercises, things that would strengthen the upper body, that would allow you to do better or more pull ups, and things that would strengthen the core, that would allow you to do more sit ups. We climbed that rope. I remember that very well. At the end of the year, or near it at least, we did it again, and we saw how much we had gained. And it was really good. Our teacher was a great cheerleader, and she kept us going, and she helped us to persevere through all of those challenges, which were really difficult. I felt incredibly proud of myself about the ground that I had gained. I'm not an incredibly athletic person, so that was really awesome. Your child might have a great natural gift or talent, but it is not going to develop. It's not going to become a strong skill unless you teach them how and why they need to persevere. Perseverance is the ability to keep going and keep going. Picture the Energizer Bunny, and keep going even when it is difficult, even when it is no longer fun, even when it is challenging, when you are discouraged, when you want to quit, you want to give up, you want to be over it. You are over it, and yet you keep on going. You need to teach your child perseverance because we know that being a parent takes perseverance. I mean, you got to see this through. And there are a lot of things in the world that are like that. If your child doesn't learn to persevere, they are not going to develop their talents and their gifts. They are not going to become really skilled at certain things. They're just not going to have what they would have had if you had taught them how to persevere. How in the world do you do that? Okay. When my kids were 15 and 16, they both wanted to take piano lessons. They had taken them when they were younger, but they really wanted to take them when they were a little bit older. They felt like they were better equipped to do well at it. And I said, okay, great. And I had the cash, so they took piano lessons. My one son, after about a month, said, yeah, Mom, I don't really want to keep doing this. I know how it is. Usually when we start something, you want us to commit 6 months to a year. You don't like us to be quitters. I know all that. But you know what? It's not like I thought, and it's just not what I want to do. So I'm not being a jerk, but I really don't think I need to continue to do this. I don't think I need to continue to spend your money. What do you think? I let him quit. It actually surprised him because I understood that you only have so much energy and you don't need to expend it on something that really, really, really isn't what you want. And he was old enough to know. Now, my other son kept going, and he loved it, and he's always been glad that he did. So he sometimes wanted to quit, would sometimes get discouraged. I would really cheer him on, and he persevered through it. So you have a child, and they want to take dance. Long before you even go, you need to ask them, okay, so are you going to commit to doing this for one whole session? And honestly, it depends on the dance studio. A session can be as short as 6 weeks. A session can be as long as 6 months. But are you going to commit to doing this for the whole session? Or do you just want to go for a brief introduction and find out what you think? You can ask your child that. They may not know the answer. And remember, I don't know is a right answer. You can receive that answer from your child and say, okay, well, how about we just take you for an introductory lesson before we sign up and really lay some serious cash down and find out that you don't like it much. How about that? Okay, Mom, I know I'm going to love it, but okay. All right, so they go to the introductory session and they love it. They're crazy about it and they get started. But then every single Saturday of their life, they don't get to go to the mall with their friends. They don't get to sleep in late. They've got to do these stretches every day. And they're 4 or 5 weeks into a 6-month commitment. And they're like, Mom, I don't want to do dance anymore. This is where you teach perseverance. You made a 6 months commitment to me, and I've already paid for 6 months of classes. It is not about the money. It is about you honoring your commitment. First of all, your commitment to yourself. Because this is something you really wanted to do and you just don't quit because it gets hard the first time. This is a commitment you made to me. I want you to honor your commitment to me. And we're going to go. You have to get them through the rough patches, because do you know that every single thing that we ever do, that we ever learn, that we are working at getting better at, we get discouraged, we go through rough patches, we find times where we just want to throw up our hands and leave, like, I'm done with this. It's harder than I thought. I didn't really know what I was getting into. And it's your job as a parent to teach your child to persevere. I really understand this. I do. I've had this experience too. And you're still going to finish. You made this commitment and you're going to do it. I didn't say you're going to dance for the rest of your life, but you are going to finish out this 6 months class session. You are going to do it. And oftentimes, if you get them over the hump, they love it and they're ready to do it again. And Mom, Dad, don't get back in their face and go, I remember though, a couple months ago you were whining and complaining. I'm not really sure. Don't do that. That doesn't help. I just want you to know, all of us struggle. Don't beat them up about that struggle, but persevere with them through the struggle. Get them past it, okay? The same thing is true in sports. Heaven knows that it is. One of my sons played a kind of ball. I won't say what kind. He came home after a couple weeks. He said, Mom, I'm not playing this anymore. I mean, you are not going to make me go back. So why is that? The coach is awful. He is so mean. Now, I'd gone to games and he wasn't the greatest guy, like not a stellar coach at games, but I had not been to a lot of practices. I was in nursing school. I really had a very busy schedule. I said, it's all right. I'll come do my homework at practice for a while. Wow, this guy really was a creep. He was uncool. For real. I was very tempted to let my son quit, but my son had made a commitment. And frankly, I expected him to keep this commitment. He had really wanted to do it, and it was a pretty big expenditure of cash, especially considering my budget at the time. I went to the coach. I said, listen, I'm sure you may not even know this, and I'm positive that you don't intend this. You are very, very demeaning when you coach these kids. So instead of saying ever, great job, or I'm really proud of you, it is constantly, what is wrong with you? That was a very stupid move. I said, I just don't think you understand the way that you sound and how this impacts the kids. My son really wants to quit, and I'm not going to let him. But I would really appreciate if you would learn to speak differently. I'd love to say that he got it, but I'm honest, and I'm going to tell you, he really never did. I went to practices, though, because if he got on my son too hard, I would literally get off the bleacher bench, go up behind him, put my hand on his back, not, put my hand on his back and say, Coach. And he'd look back at me. And so I didn't let him just badger my kid mercilessly. I got in there, not overly much, no yelling matches, but yeah, I did stick up for my kid. This is what I told my son. The rest of your life, you are going to work alongside of, participate in things with people that are uncool, like this dude here. I'm sorry, I wish I could paint a brighter picture for you, but it's really going to happen. So though I'd love to have you quit, and I can appreciate why you want to, I'm going to continue to protect you in the ways that I can by addressing this. On the other hand, you're going to keep doing this. And when you get home, you can tell me all about it. You can, and we'll work through. We will process how you were feeling. And I can't blame you, incidentally. and you're going to learn how to deal with people that act like this, because you're going to continue to deal with this all your life. And that's what we did. He finished it. They had a good season, actually. I think they were in second place overall in our county. But I'm telling you, that was a rough patch. But you know what? My son persevered. I taught him the necessity of persevering and how to do it. And I worked through the process with him in terms of his emotional upheaval and how bad it felt, and to have someone talk to you like that. And even options, that if you were ever in charge of something, what would you like to hear? How would you do things? And I have to say, I think it was very formative for him, because he works with people all the time, coaching them in various ways, and he's extremely affirming. I actually believe, though he may not specifically remember what happened during that particular incident, that it taught him a lot of things that were valuable. So I taught him to persevere, and I taught him other things in the midst of a difficult, challenging time while he was doing something. Your goal is to help your kids gain every skill they can get their hands on. Okay? One of those skills is dealing with challenging people and dealing with yourself. I took voice lessons when I was in third grade, and I can honestly tell you that I wish I had stayed with it. But one of the first things we had to do was a song called Waltzing Matilda. It's an Australian folk song. I didn't even know what any of that stuff was about. I asked the voice teacher, and the voice teacher basically shut me down and told me that it was unimportant, and all I needed to do was sing the assigned stuff and do what she said. And I went home to my mother and I said, I will not be going back to voice lessons. And my mother didn't go have a conversation. My mom did not have a conversation with me. She just let me quit. What a bummer. I'm serious. If my mom had done anything about teaching me perseverance, that would have been an incredibly different experience. That's why I know you can literally cut off or circumvent things in your kids' lives they might later wish they had, or wish they had continued with. You need to encourage them to persevere. Let me tell you one more place. This one, I confess to you, is a little more tough, but vitally important. Okay. In a big family, there are always people who get along better and people who don't get along that great, because there are a lot of diverse personalities. So whether it is within your own family, like your kid hates this particular aunt, or she says, Mom, I really don't want to be around these people anymore. I know we've been friends a long time, but I'm not going to do anything with them. I don't want to go anywhere with them ever again. You need to help your child learn how to persevere in relationships. No kidding. Very frankly, if you're divorced or you've never been married to your co-parent and they have issues with the other one and they're like, I'm not going to mom's house, you're not going to make me go to dad's. Wowie. Welcome to the importance of teaching your child perseverance in relationships. When you persevere with a person in spite of the fact that they hurt you, they have problems, because we all do, and some of them are more glaring, and some of them have a greater impact in our lives. And yet, if we really love someone, if they are a part of our family, if they are our own parent, if they've been our best friend for 5 years, ideally, we want to teach our children the necessity of persevering in a relationship. Let me tell you just a few things, because boy, we could talk about this for a long time. And if you like it and you have questions and you give me input, I'll go into this on a Saturday session. We'll give it more time. Let me say this to you. We have to continue with people in spite of the fact they hurt us. If we stop talking to or having a relationship with everyone who hurt us, we'd be locked in a bomb shelter alone. We'd never talk to anyone or have anything to do with anyone. People hurt us. The more we love them, the more we care about them, honestly, the more power and potential they have to hurt us. Kids have to learn how to deal with that. You don't negate or deny their hurt, but you have to persevere, and they have to persevere, and you have to learn how to get them through the pain of relationships. Then the other thing you have to deal with them about is incompatibilities. No matter how much you love someone and how close you are to them, there are big differences in what you love or you like or you want to do. You can have some real serious incompatibility. That's very true in a bigger family. I just talked to a child yesterday and she said, My sister always wants to, and I never want to. And I always, she didn't use the word acquiesce, but it's the one. I always acquiesce. I'm always giving into her. And then it really makes me mad. Sometimes I just hate my sister because of this. I said, yeah, I can really relate to that. Whoa, do I understand? But you have to learn how to compromise. And I talked to her about how to make that happen. And again, ask me questions. If I need more time on this, I'll be glad to spend it. But you have to teach your child how to have a compromise, how to have a discussion, how to come to meet in the middle or agree to do this one day and this the next. They're going to need this people skill forever. They don't just give up on this relationship. They need to learn how to compromise. You teach them how to persevere in a relationship in which they have invested a great deal of time. Part of that is learning when to give it up, but that's another topic for a different day. You see, there's a lot involved here in teaching your child how and why to persevere. But it is a great life skill, one they will keep on using, until the day they die. And so I invite you to teach your child to persevere. Here's your question for the day. Am I good at persevering? Because if you're not, you're going to have to gain some skill. And again, it's one of those things you can gain alongside of your child. And do I need to do certain things to teach my child how and why to persevere? Yeah, really good questions. And I hope you find good answers because it's such a vital thing. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I will look forward to seeing you again soon. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button.